evening, everybody. Welcome. It is my privilege and honor to welcome Cleavon Leonard on set today here with us on behalf of D. Michelle Magazine, D. Michelle Entertainment, and D. Michelle Fashions. What a lucky day. Cleavon Leonard, if you don't know already, just a quick recap, is a very successful designer in America already, and we're excited to talk to him about what he's doing in Africa. He has his own boutique right here in Soho in Manhattan, and after tasting success in North America, he's ventured into Africa. He's got a boutique in Johannesburg. He's the prestigious award winner of the GSIA 2020 award in Ghana recently, December of 2020. It's one of the most prestigious designer awards given to fashion designers in all of Africa. And our own Cleavon Leonard from New York won that award just a few months ago. We're excited to have Cleavon on set here today. Thank you for joining us. We'd love to hear more about you.
Thank you for having me.
It's our honor. We'd love to kick off with understanding what you're doing in Johannesburg. Why Johannesburg?
Well, I feel like I went to Africa and I went to Johannesburg, and it was so incredibly beautiful. I was really taken in by the culture and the people, and I went there initially just as a getaway, R&R, to get away from fashion. I got there, I ran into fashion, and it was just, it was just breathtaking. The people and the culture really stimulated me and stimulated my creativity, and I decided, I think this is a great place to launch. Africa has so much diversity. Johannesburg is like the New York of Africa. It's nations, Ghanaians, Nigerians, Botswanans, Algerians, Moroccans, all find themselves nestled in South Africa. And so people from all over the world. And so I felt the creative urge there, and I felt like it was a great place to launch, because I feel like Africa gonna be one of the next places that fashion is really gonna launch. We thought about New York and London and Paris and Milan, but I believe that Johannesburg gonna have its place there as well.
It's a very smart choice. Joburg is indeed it's the largest metropolis in Africa, in case you're not aware. It's got a large buying potential. It's a very vast, spread out city. How is it navigating through the metropolis of Johannesburg? I understand you're from New York. It couldn't have been that hard, but the dynamic's so different. And I've been to Johannesburg and to Cape Town, spent a little bit of time in Africa. So culturally, I'm sure you got along well, but just how is it navigating through the business dynamic in South Africa particularly?
It's a lot different. The first thing was driving on the opposite side of the road, of course, just getting adjusted to driving on the opposite side of the road. But as far as business-wise, I feel like it's a very open market. There is a lot of things going on there. There is so many layers of fashion in Johannesburg. And so there is a large section of arts in Johannesburg that's created for the arts. Places like Mobinet, where artists and designers and photographers and models, it's a place that they hang out. So it's a hub, really for people who really got a lot of creative juices and flows. You find everybody there. I mean, you can find somebody who will paint on your leather jacket to your sneakers. I mean, can get it done right there in the moment. And so for me, I felt like learning the business. The first thing I did, I went and I did partnerships. I collaborated with other designers, because I think that's important. I think a lot of times we go into areas and we want to go in and we want to take over, but collaboration, our theme is collaboration over competition. When people feel like you're coming in to collaborate, not to come in to take over, they're more open. And so the whole market began to be open, because I was all about collaboration. So I began to collaborate with other designers, collaborate with photographers, collaborate with models. And so that type of collaboration really stimulated. It got my name out there, opened doors for me. I ended up connecting with some celebrities and got them to wear some of my gear when I did my launch. I had one of the prime celebrities. He was my host. And so it really just set me on a stage and really began to give me exposure. And so I was able to see my things on television, and then a couple of artists. And so it just kind of snowballed. And so, it was really open. And I feel very fortunate. The way that things happen for me in fashion don't generally happen to people. So I'm just fortunate I'll just be at the right place at the right time.
Well, that's a great story. And if you're not aware yet, Cleavon's on the precipice of success already. With his foray into the African market, this is only going to open him up to global industry. And we're so lucky to have you on set here. Thank you for that. You touched on a very important point. To me personally, how is collaborating with the designers in Africa, how did that influence your design style, your What was your creative journey like? How did that emotionally influence you?
Well, when I went to Africa, I was really stimulated. I mean, when you go, I went on safari, you see zebras running next to you, like, okay, this is real. When you go to the lion club and you see real lions, not, out in the wild, you're like, okay, this is real. So that type of being out there in the market, it really kind of, it stimulates your juices. You begin to think about it. I created a collection based upon what I seen. I did an animal print collection. And so I began to ask people, what do you think about it? And they would say, oh, you can get this kind of fabric here. You ought to think about this. And that collaboration, asking people, not going in and saying, oh, I'm from New York, I already know everything. You should kind of humble yourself to me. But going in and saying, hey, guys, this is a great opportunity for us to learn from one another. Let me tell you what I know. You tell me what you know. And let's sit down and let's network and brainstorm and come up with some ideas. And a lot of the creative juices that flowed. There was a gentleman, his name is Ryan, and he is all over the place. He did Italian Vogue. He came in. He was my creative director. I mean, these people just volunteered their time. They was like, I want to work with you. Just come. We could just come in here and just learn. We just want that opportunity. And so for me, it was a great learning curve for me because it kind of shaped. I visited, leaving there, I went to Ghana. I got a hold of some original fabric and textures. And so it kind of stimulated and changed some of my designs. It gave me a different openness toward the market. And, sometimes we get stuck in just kind of mundane, these same colors, but it really opened me up to more patterns. I became open to more styles and different types of layering. I even got, a new line that's going to be coming out. I have a street style design that'll be coming out in September. And so it just opened me up to things that I had never really generally thought about. So, yeah.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that with us. I personally think Africa it itself is reaching its apex. There's so much buying power. It's incredible that you're doing so much there. So is it safe to assume that you immersed yourself in the African dynamics of their culture, of the way they wear clothes, the way they move, and that influenced your style?
Well, I think very much so. Africa, especially Johannesburg, they're very much into music. Yes. And so you really have to tap into the music scene there because it has to be comfortable enough clothes for them to dance because they are dancing. People party there from Tuesday to Sunday. And so it was a really different dynamic. And so when I thought about clothing and I thought about clothing that people could wear, because people transition a lot, kind of like in the city. People go straight from their job to somewhere to have drinks, to hang out. And so it's very transitional. So when I thought about clothing, I thought about clothing that can be transitional, that can move and different in different, settings. And so it kind of changed the dynamics because I generally started with just men's wear. I ventured into women's wear, and then now I'm venturing into ready to wear. It's not something that I was typically doing. I was doing a lot of red carpet. And so now I don't went to ready to wear to even streetwear. So I've been very open, leather bags, leather jackets, I really just, I even athletic wear. I did some gym outfits. And so it's just been really interesting being in that culture, being immersed in that environment. It kind of changed the way you look at fashion, and it changes the way that you begin to design. Being there, I was trapped there during, I shouldn't say trapped, I was there during the pandemic and they closed the borders. So I was there from March to December. So I had an opportunity to see the culture in a whole different aspect. I became like a citizen, my style of dressing changed. The way I approach, I seen how they really merge, dancing, the different tribes are really a part of their culture. And so, I learned a little Africana, I learned a little Zulu, I just began to learn, pick up languages. And so it's really been different. And so you take all of that and you put that into your creativity and you find yourself utilizing it in your design in the way that you look at fashion.
That's brilliant. Well, we also learned that you're involving yourself with the student community, with the designer community in South Africa particularly. How are you partaking your wisdom to the community there?
Well, it started, as I started traveling to Africa 4 years ago, people started saying, hey, will you mentor me? I was like, I really don't have time. I don't really know enough to mentor you. I'm just really just trying to get my feet, I'm trying to get my own balance. But it kept increasing. And so 2 years ago, I launched a program called Cleavon Leonard Incubation. And it's for young designers. And it's where I'm teaching them about marketing. I'm teaching them how to put together a collection. I'm teaching them opening doors for them to go into other markets. I took them to Seychelles. We've been to Ghana. We've been to Botswana. We've been to just Morocco. It's just Algeria. And so I have a program called Incubation where I'm teaching young designers how it is, the business aspect of it. Because, fashion school can teach you patterns, it can teach you cutting, it can teach you, those type of things. But there's a business side to fashion that most designers don't get. So they're very creative, but they don't make money. We need to make money in order to survive. And so I launched that program. The government came in collaboration with me, and so I signed a contract on last year to come and help and assist with young designers between the ages of 16 and 21, because my incubation right now is over the African diaspora. So I have people from Kenya, Botswana, Swaziland, Ghana, so they're from all over, and I'm teaching them. We do it via Zoom, and then we collaborate. We do 2 meetings where we meet at different shows. When I get invited to a show, I bring at least 2 people from my incubation. And so they come and they get a chance to experience fashion in another country. They get open to another market. And so it gives them a whole another platform of exposure. Because most of these people are, whether they be from Botswana, most of them have never showed outside of their home country. So they get the opportunity to showcase outside of their home country and open up to markets that maybe wasn't available to them.
That's brilliant. Thank you, Cleavon, for sharing that story. So Cleavon's not only contributing to the business market in South Africa and the greater Africa, he's also giving back to the society right away. Isn't that a very powerful and incredible story for all of us to take away from? We're going to quickly break for a minute or 2, and we're going to dive right back into this, and we're going to look at Cleavon's new fashions.
We're going to be talking about my new collection, my spring collection. It's my ready-to-wear collection, and the title of the collection is Live. So it's all about colors, it's all about being comfortable, and it's all about looking sexy. So our first model coming on is Nadia, and she's going to be coming on. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. So Nadia is wearing one of our spring gowns, and it's the bell sleeve with the slit all the way up the front. Something that's elegant, that can be worn anywhere, certainly during this weather and during this time. The fabric is easy and it's breezy, easy to wear, looking fabulous. Nadia, thank you so much, beautiful. The Live collection is all about being comfortable. It's about colors, it's about light. So you see the orange, you see the white, and you see the green, which is symbolic for life. Our next model who will be coming aboard is Delilah. And so Delilah, she's coming aboard. And this is something that is sexy, it's cool, it's simple, with a little bow in the front, you know what I'm saying? Pockets. It's all about, this collection is all about feeling comfortable. It's all about living, about life, looking sexy. And I think Delilah's doing an excellent job. I love it all the way. And so this is my Live collection. It's about living. It's about enjoying life. You know, coming through the pandemic, we are all about valuing life. And so this collection is about valuing life and being excited about it. I don't know about you, but I'm so excited for things to get back to our new normal, but at least we have the opportunity to come aboard. Thank you so much, Delilah. So we know we got to have something for the men, so we couldn't. So we have our host here, and he's dashing. So he's going to come and show us a part of the new collection as well, this Live collection. And he's wearing our green suit. I just love this collection. It's highlighted with the gold buttons, and it's highlighted. I wanted to highlight something a little different, so I put the fabric that's in the gowns and in the dresses, I put it alongside. And so this is a double-breasted. I love the look of it. I love the comfortability of it. The fabric is open, it's breezy, it stands out. And so no matter where you are, no matter where you go, whether it be something casual to something formal, I think that you would capture the room. And that's what it's all about. It's about enjoying life. It's about being captivating. It's about being fun, and it's about looking dashing. And I think he's doing that.
We're excited to continue our journey with Cleavon Leonard. Did you all know that I'm wearing a Cleavon special? This electric blue set is designed by the one and only Cleavon. So if you want to buy this, you have to go to his website. We'll continue to find out more about where his new styles are. Stay with us. So Cleavon, thank you for staying with us again. Let's go back to your journey in Africa. Okay. Your viewers are particularly interested in understanding What was the emotional influence of your time in Africa, given that Black Lives Matter has picked up so much momentum, not just in the US today, but across the world? I would particularly love to understand how that's shaped your emotional journey and how you've liaised with Africa overall, the people, the land, the style. What has that meant to you over the last few years?
Well, I think for me, being a part of Black Lives Matter and being a Black entrepreneur and a Black designer, I think it really had an impact on me, even while I was over there, to give them an understanding of what we in America face as Black designers, as a Black male. For me, it was an emotional journey because it was important for me being in a place that was under apartheid. They could understood, they could relate to some of the oppression that we feel. And so even the place of liberation, being able to speak out and being verbal about what was going on, I felt it necessary for me to speak out about, as a Black male, being in Africa or being a Black designer, be able to be vocal. A lot of times we are very silent about issues because we're not directly affected. I have not experienced nothing one-on-one, with the police, but I do know my family and my community, it is important. And so it's important for everybody all across the spectrum to speak out. When we unify as one voice and say, we won't tolerate this, injustice for one is injustice for all. And when we take that attitude, I think that it opens up the understanding. For me, it has impacted me so that even I'm pursuing my PhD and my thesis is on Black Lives Matter, the impact of Black Lives Matter on corporate America. That's how much of impact that it had, that I felt like in pursuit of my PhD, this was a topic that I wanted to focus on from an academic standpoint as well, and let academia know and understand the plight of Black men. Specifically for me, what is our plight? Raising Black children, having a Black son, and him being in that compass of that 22-year-old, some of the dilemmas that he faced being a young Black man, I had to be able to speak out. Raising young Black women, it was important for me to be able to let them know what my stand was and my participation. I think that when we have platforms, we have to utilize our platforms and we have a place of influence to speak out and let people know and understand that we're not just sitting back idly, but we are part of this change that take place. It's going to take all of us. So it has really impacted me so much so that it provoked me to go back to school and get my PhD. It provoked me to say, I want to be one of the people sitting at the table discussing and influencing the way policies are shaped as it pertains to Black Americans. My PhD is going to be in employee relations, so it's really dealing in particular in corporate America, because being in corporate America, being a licensed HR professional, I've traveled all over the world with startup companies prior to fashion. I've been HR. I'm a licensed human resource professional. I have a master's degree in it from Rutgers University. So I understand the impact. I've experienced discrimination on a corporate level. I know some of the hindrances that we face as Black people. Being in HR, which is the hub of a business, the heartbeat of any business, I've experienced when applicants been turned down because of their name, where they lived, where they went to school, and those applications were discarded. So I've been a part of that. I've been there where I've tried to influence and speak out and say, no, we do need to interview them. No, that's not right. And so all of that has influenced the way that I look at fashion. It also has influenced the way I want to put money back into small businesses. Being a small business owner, it is difficult. I happen to partnership with someone all the way in another country that I met when me and my son traveling. We had went to the university, we had went to London Men's Fashion Week, me and my youngest son. And we went there, and then we went over to Italy, and we ended up going to Germany. We started meeting people. Whenever I go to a new country, I'm always interested in going to places, boutiques. That's where we make connections. That's where you meet people who say, I'm willing to collaborate with you, whether that be in London, whether that be in Italy. People say, oh, I like what you have. People don't understand. It's your networking that open doors for you. It's not always somebody standing there. They say, well, how did this happen for you? I went. I ventured into the community. I talked to people. I asked questions. I took information. I kept in contact with people, and that's what opened doors for me and gave me access to London, to Milan. I've been able to show all across the world, and it's because I made contact, I made connection, And I was genuine with people, and I let them know, listen, this is what I'm attempting to do. I want my fashions on the international market. I'm looking to see who I can collaborate with, who I can work with, because I'm interested in seeing myself all over the world, not just for monetary gain, but I want to leave a legacy for my children. And so this legacy of prosperity, education, this legacy, it is important for us to venture outside our little nucleus and see the world. You know, I do a lot of business in Bangladesh, India. I get a lot of my fabric from Bangladesh and India. I've been very fortunate to travel all over the world, and those doors opened for me and gave me access to people who help me and assist me. They're, you know, traveling sometimes, you know, in 2019, I was more away than I was home. I traveled all over and doing shows and changing collections. I would have a winter collection, a summer collection, and I would have to change up collections. I would fly into New York. My team, I have a wonderful team, will come. They will bring the new collection. I would give them the old collection in suitcases and get on another plane and be gone. And it was just, I couldn't believe that this was really happening for me. You know, I left corporate America and did a step of faith and believed that this was my flight. I felt like God opened the door for me, and I walked through it, and I never looked back. And everything that has happened for me, it's been by the grace of God. I just have to give the credit to him. He has done it, but not just for me, but I've been able to help and assist other people in getting out and getting to other markets. You know, I've taken designers here. I take them to India. We did a show in India. I took my whole team. We went over. I took models. You know, it's not just about me experiencing the world, but it's about taking others and let them experience the world too. And so they've traveled with me. My team have traveled to Europe. They've traveled to Africa. They've traveled to India. They've traveled to Asia. They've been able to go with me and see. And so not only have I been able to be exposed, but I've been able to give them exposure to the world too. And I've been able to bring models from Africa here, New York Fashion Week, Philadelphia Fashion Week, Atlantic City Fashion Week. So it's opened up the world for them. And so even in September, we're gonna be bringing models. I got a whole crew of models who will be coming over to experience New York Fashion Week. We're gonna do New York, we're gonna do Philly, and then we're gonna do LA. And so it's, you know, it's giving them an opportunity. Some of them have never left Africa, or they never left their native country. And now they have an opportunity to be on an international platform. And so it's just been, it's been awesome, man.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That's truly inspiring. How many people do we know, whether it be it fashion industry or any other industry, who people always take. There's very few people like you who give back. And did you know Cleavon started pursuing his PhD in South Africa, being influenced by Africa, everything the movement in Africa today, he decided to pursue his PhD in Africa.
Yes.
That is truly inspirational. So you're not only just liaising with the fashion community, you're giving all these models a chance to travel with you, engage with you, understand the business. That's empowering. You're disrupting the way the fashion industry works. And I think that's a great story right there.
Oh, thank you.
I'd love to hear more from you about sustainability and what you're doing about sustainable fashion, which especially in India and Bangladesh, that sort of seems the origin story for all designers to manufacture their clothes, get their garments from there, get their textiles. But sustainability has become such a hot topic in fashion world particularly. Yes. We'd love for you to educate us and your viewers what you're doing in this realm of sustainability to drive companies, to help them more accountable, to be sustainable.
Well, let me tell you what happened to me 2 years ago. So I was on the verge of, you know, saying, what can I do? You know, because I teach even my designers, okay, you have a collection, you don't sell everything. How can we reinvent this collection? What can we do? How do we modify this collection and still sell it and utilize it? There's no sense, you can't throw it out. You know, how can I take this money and make the most of it? So you know what we did? I took them on the street to Bangladesh. I have a small factory in Dhaka, Bangladesh. I went on the street, and you know, in Bangladesh, if you know anything about Bangladesh, in the old city, and so old city, you know, it's crowded and bustling, and so they're selling all these clothes. They got all these blankets. It was in the winter. I bought all these blankets, and I created my collection out of them. We pulled the blankets apart, and I did jackets and suits about 2 years ago and did a whole collection. Because what I wanted them to show them was that, you know, people, they was like, what are you gonna do with this? I said, we're gonna make suits. They was like, these are blankets. I said, I know. I know it is.
That's
but
great.
fashion is about being creative. It's not just about going to the market. It's about you have to continue to stir your creativity. And if we're going to sustain this earth that we live in, we can't keep pulling from it. We got to give something back. So we have to find ways to recycle. And I feel like, you know, the OGs, as they say, of the fashion industry, we have a responsibility to teach the up and coming designers that there is an alternative than what we know. Everybody knows just run to the fashion store, buy and go, but there are alternatives that we have. There are ways. Old jeans, how can we restyle them? That's when people start, you know, cutting them up and distressing jeans and things like that. But the fashion industry looked down upon that and said that wasn't real fashion. You know, that's not really creative. But it's through those creative veins, taking sneakers and repainting them and adding studs to them. It's things like that that has pushed fashion to the next level. And it's opened up a whole billion-dollar industry that is going on right now. And so for me, the Resustainable, I'm all about recreating. Once we do this, how can we recreate? Because that's a way, that's sustainability also. We're looking at cottons and silk and trying to stay in that vein and not use so much polyesters and things that cannot be recycled. And so it's about educate. And to be quite honest with you, it's really expensive being sustainable. And that's why a lot of the designers who are struggling choose not to go that route. And so we have to educate them, explain to them the benefits of why we are utilizing cottons, why these particular fabrics are utilized. And I feel like the industry has a responsibility to educate the new designers that are coming out as well. And it's just not happening. And so having this platform, I appreciate you bringing that to the forefront, because these are things that have to be discussed and talked about. So it could, it could provoke all of us to look at what we have in our closets, what we utilize, and how can we change it.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a beautiful case study for those in the fashion world and outside as well. If the man has roamed the streets of Dhaka, then he understands the pain that there are millions of clothes just being strewn away, and to recycle that is a powerful statement. There is money to be made. This man is not only an eclectic designer, but is a brilliant businessman.